Donald and Melania Trump test positive for the coronavirus. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to some breaking news from HeiseSays. Donald and Melania Trump have both tested positive to the coronavirus. Now, Donald Trump released a tweet just shortly. Tonight, FLOTUS, the First Lady of the United States, and I tested positive for COVID-19. We will begin our quarantine and recovery process immediately. We will get through this together. And it's being shared, and you know what, I should retweet it. There we go. And I'll put a like there. I'm new to this Twitter thing. And the First Lady, as too many Americans have done this year, POTUS and I are quarantining at home after testing positive for COVID-19. We're feeling good, and I have postponed all upcoming engagements. Please be sure you are staying safe, and we will all get through this together. And, I mean, there's a mix of people trolling on it. It's Twitter. I mean, Twitter's just the dumpster fire, really. It really is. So, let's have a look here at how the news in Australia is reporting it. We've got news.com.au. Donald tests positive for the coronavirus, so does Melania. Now, the question is, we saw the debate recently. Has it, how did Joe get it? Have other people at the debate been infected? What's going to happen? How will he deal with it? Because he's not a young buck. He's not a young buck. So, US President Donald Trump and his wife Melania have tested positive for the coronavirus. Mr. Trump announced the news on Twitter, saying he and the First Lady would begin their quarantine and recovery process immediately. We'll get through this together, he said. Ms. Trump also posted a statement saying she and her husband were feeling good. As too many Americans have done this year, POTUS and I are quarantining at home after testing positive for COVID-19, she said. We are feeling good, and I've postponed all upcoming engagements. Please be sure you are staying safe, and we will get through this together. The president's physician, Sean Connolly, released a letter saying he expects Mr. Trump to continue his duties. This evening, I received confirmation that both President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump have tested positive, he said. The President and First Lady are both well at this time, and they plan to remain at home within the White House during their convalescence. The White House medical team and I will maintain a vigilant watch, and I appreciate the support provided by some of our country's greatest medical professionals and institutions. Rest assured, I expect the President to continue in carrying out his duties without disruption while recovering, and I will keep you updated on any further developments. So here's the thing. I mean, if he just sails through this, still able to work in a, frankly, insanely high-pressure job, what does that say for the rest of the economy, guys? What does that say for all the other lockdowns? So this could be the ultimate test case. This could be the best thing that's happened. Could prove his case. How do you think it'll go in the election if he just sails through it and conquers it? We'll have to see. The letter did not specify whether the President and First Lady were suffering from symptoms of the virus. New York Times reporter Maggie Herbermann said people had noticed Mr. Trump's voice was raspy today, but had chalked it up to a busy week. So infected advisor was in close contact. Mr. Trump went into quarantine and got tested today after one of the president's close advisors, Hope Hicks, contracted the infection. Ms. Hicks, a former White House communications director who returned to the administration as a counselor to Mr. Trump earlier this year, traveled to and from this week's presidential debate in Cleveland, Ohio with him. She was also aboard the president's helicopter, Marine One, for a trip to Joint Base Andrews yesterday. And she was aboard Air Force One for Mr. Trump's visit to Minnesota, where he held a political rally. A number of other people were on those trips as well. According to U.S. media, the list of people potentially exposed to Trump includes, and I'll let you go through that on your own time. Speaking to Fox News, Sean Hannity, after his test, but before the results were known, Mr. Trump was in a fairly positive move. I just went for a test and we'll see what happens. I mean, who knows, he said. We spent a lot of time with Hope. But Hope's very well. She's fantastic and she's done a great job. The positive test result will drastically change the presidential election campaign, with the president presumably quarantined for an extended period of time. The second debate against Joe Biden is scheduled for October 15, which is 13 days away. So could this be? Is this a plot, a strategy to stop Joe having to go through another debate? Is this what it is? Maybe. Speaking to Hannity, Mr. Trump said that it was difficult for him and those close to him to avoid the virus since so many others, including members of the military, try to interact with them. It's very hard when you're with soldiers, when you're with airmen, when you're with the Marines and the police officers. I'm with them so much. And when they come over to you, it's hard to say, stay back, stay back. You know, it's a tough kind of situation. It's a terrible thing, he said. I just went for a test and we'll see what happens. I mean, who knows? I was surprised to hear with hope, but she's a very warm person with them. Bloomberg News correspondent Jennifer Jacobs, who was first to report that Ms. Hicks had contracted the virus, said the senior aide was experiencing symptoms and had been in close proximity to Mr. Trump without a mask in recent days. In a statement earlier today, White House spokesman Judd Deere said the president takes the health and safety of himself and everyone who works in support of him and the American people very seriously. White House operations collaborates with the physician to the president and the White House military office to ensure all plans and procedures incorporating current CDC guidelines and best practices for limiting COVID-19 exposure to the greatest extent possible, both on complex and when the president is traveling, Mr. Deere said. So, who is Hope Hicks? Ms. Hicks is one of Mr. Trump's longest-serving and most trusted political advisors. She first met the president in 2014 while employed by a public relations company that was representing his daughter Ivanka's fashion line. She went on to become his White House communications director, replacing the controversial Anthony Scaramucci until 2018 when she moved to California to become an executive at Fox Corporation. There are no words to adequately express my gratitude to President Trump, she said in a statement at the time of her departure. I wish the president and his administration the very best as he continues to lead our country. She is as smart and thoughtful as they come, a truly great person, Mr. Trump said. I will miss having her by my side, but when she approached me about pursuing other opportunities, I totally understood. I'm sure we will work together again in the future. That statement proved prescient. In February, shortly after the end of his impeachment trial, Mr. Trump rehired Ms. Hicks to serve as an advisor. Over the years, she has developed a reputation for knowing and understanding him better than most advisors. Ms. Hicks, the youngest communication director in history, became known as something of a Trump whisperer during her first stint at the White House. As the rest of Mr. Trump's staff often crumbled around her, with chiefs of staff and press secretaries quickly flaming out, she was the one constant always by the president's side. My father makes people earn his trust. She's earned his trust, Ivanka once said. Ivanka poached her from the aforementioned PR company in 2014. By January of 2015, a short time after she joined the Trump organization, Mr. Trump himself recruited her for his presidential campaign. Her most important role is her bond with the candidate. She totally understands him, campaign chairman Paul Manafort later told the New York Times. So we can see there, well, a close aide to the president, and he's got it. His wife has it, but they're not showing any signs of symptoms, and we'll have to see how this all plays out. What do you think, everyone? What do you think? Do you think this will win him more votes? Do you think if Trump could sail through it, it will endear people to him or not? And I bet you there'll be some horrific hatred coming out. We'll have to see. I've seen some of them in the tweets. I don't even want to go through them, guys. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel here on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Passes from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, guys. Have a great day. I will see you all in the next episode.